I was going to start this off with a big, happy, healthy good morning to everybody. And then Tony made the remark about the hammer. And, well, needless to say, I was trying to figure out how he was reading my mind. Because, uh, well, needless to say, I was in there getting dressed, and the wife, of course, in her ultimate display of love, um, told me. She said, "You might want to do something about." And I told her we didn't have any plaster or anything else for me to work with this morning, so I needed a hammer. So go get that coffee, Santee. We all need it first thing in the morning, man. Oh, good morning, everybody. Happy Friday, September 8th. It's almost, but not quite, officially the weekend, but you know. Good morning, Tony. Good morning, Santee. Good morning, Deb. Purdy. Set to catch the day after, yeah, picture tent. Yeah, something like that. Something like that. Let me see. Who do we have up here that's probably not here anymore? Oh, there's Santee. Big Ben. You know how those Australians are, though. I mean, I hope everybody's had a great week. I told you I was going to do my damnedest to. Yeah, it is almost officially fall. I noticed this morning that it was actually getting lighter later already, and normally by 6:30 but we're starting to get light. I can see out the window here, and hell, it was almost 7 o'clock before I could actually see the privacy fence separating our property from the neighbors. It's like, dang, fall's coming quick. No, not fall, just Halloween every day. Shh. Amen to that. Pay no attention. Pay no attention to the man behind the mask. Again, this holiday starting 6 months early. Well, I mean, Halloween is next month. So, however, if you randomly frequent retail stores, they'll have the back to school stuff in August sitting right next to the Halloween stuff, and then they have the Thanksgiving stuff setting out a week before Halloween, sitting next to the Halloween stuff, and then they've got the Christmas stuff sitting right next to the yeah. Here in Canada, Thanksgiving is before Halloween. Yeah, go figure. Go figure. I kind of like that setup, though. Having Canadian Thanksgiving before Thanksgiving cooking products are in the aisle at Walmart. Not surprising. I've already seen our turkey prices dropping. So, they went from that, $30, $40 mark for a full turkey down to, 15, $20 already. Another, what? Another month, we're going to start seeing, 50 cents a pound, 60 cents a pound. So, it's not going to be long. It's not going to be long at all. Last year's turkeys. Well, a frozen turkey, blah, 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 et cetera, et cetera. I don't think there's much of a, I don't think there's um, a very short shelf life on a frozen turkey. I mean, I've got turkeys on my job before, or I've got turkeys from family members. The wife's got a turkey, and it's like we've had them in the freezer for almost a year, and then I'll start craving turkey along about June or July, and I'll make another one. So that way I've got turkey salad, turkey breast, turkey sandwiches. I'll use turkey instead of chicken on everything. So, but I always prefer to have turkey over chicken. Cooking as much chicken as I do in a day, yeah, you get the, yeah, they're over 3 years old. Um, as long as they're not freezer burnt, they should still be good. Hey, Ben, good evening to you, my friend. I know you're like 12 hours ahead of us or something like that, so 11 hours, 10 hours, something like that. So good evening to you. Happy weekend, my friend. As long as it was good when frozen, they're still good, just thawed properly. Yeah, exactly. Well, my freezer thawed a time or two. Yeah, I'd be throwing them turkeys out. Then again, as long as it takes to thaw out a turkey compared to, a pack of hamburger or something like that, they may still be good. Who knows? I'm doing great. A few beers right now, cruising along. Well, hello, Christine. Good to see you, love. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, it has been a long time. I discovered that if I set something heavy on the lid, it will defrost. Wow. That's crazy. But yeah, hence the title, on the thumbnail of this morning's, morning coffee and chat. It's going to be another one of those weeks. I was actually scheduled off Tuesday and Wednesday. I wound up working Tuesday. Amazingly enough, I didn't get called on Wednesday. Wednesday was actually my first day off in a week and a half. But, work opened yesterday, opened again today, closing tomorrow night, closing Sunday night, and then Monday starts a whole new week. I got, 3 weeks left until I get another day off, and that's the weekend that we're going away for the wedding that I'm officiating. And then I have big Civil War events and county history events and stuff the first and second week of October. Plus, we're working on big investigations. Mark and I were talking last night, and we're working on a plan to investigate an entire town. So that's going to be pretty cool. That might be a multi-part investigation. Sounds like chaos, busy times. Oh yeah. Well, you're working in the bar now. I'm trying to put the place on the map with the pizzas alone, and plus I got the go-ahead from the owners to start working on a commercial for them. So the bands are going to start coming back in October. We have our last beach bash here down at the lake. I think the first weekend of October. So when the bands start coming back in, then we're going to start building a commercial for the business and everything. A lot better now. I've been super busy, have severe neck injuries through bone degeneration, car accident. Someone T-boned me. So sorry I've been absent. No reason to explain nor apologize, my dear. You are just fine. Your pizzas, wish I could make that happen. Dude, I started making Philly steak and cheese pizza. You know, like the Philly steak and cheese sandwich that Philadelphia is famous for. And people are loving it. They're loving the Italian sauce that I use in place of pizza sauce. I start doing a taco pizza. I start doing an Italian pizza. God, what else? Chicken Alfredo pizza and oh, what's it called? A chicken Parmesan pizza. So, you know, I'm trying to put those custom pizzas out there, which is something nobody else around here does. We've only got one other pizza place here in town, and they just do plain pizza. Being half Italian myself, I need to try. I need a Drew pizza. Well, get your butt on a plane and get to Michigan, man. It's only about a 8-hour flight for a pizza. At least I have a fold-out sofa sleeper you can sleep on while you're here. I mean, you know, I don't have much to offer, but, you know, what I have, mi casa, su casa, my friend, and that goes for anybody that comes to visit. I've never turned a family member away, whether they were blood or not, unless they keep dipping in my wallet. And then they've come to realize really, really fast that I don't have enough moths to share with everybody. Chicken don't belong on pizza. I've come to find out, though, Tony, that a lot of people are tilting towards, you know, the chicken thing. I used to do an Alfredo pizza at Pizza Hut. And nobody even thought of Alfredo cheese sauce on a pizza, but it just makes it even cheesier. And hell, man, we got we got ham, we got chicken, and it's not just grilled chicken either. You know, I can do spicy chicken, I can do crispy chicken, I can do whatever a person wants on a pizza. But yeah, just bacon, ham, sausage, the taco pizza. You know, it's got nothing but salsa, a very thick salsa that I mix up. That goes on the crust, and then it's got the taco cheese, and it's got ground beef, and it's got tomatoes, and it's got onions, and you know, it's got a pico de gallo that goes on very, very lightly. Just all kinds of little, you know, taco-ish toppings, and then it's ended off with more taco cheese, and then a very light, thin salsa on top of that. So it all bakes in and melts together. So, chicken, I can eat 3. Roast chicken, 1 sitting. And live off chicken gives you strength, muscles, and energy. I don't like ham or Canadian bacon. See, I love Canadian bacon. Not much on ham, but I love Canadian bacon. Definitely bacon. Frickin' Canadians need to learn what bacon is supposed to be. I'll be starting some kind of damn international incident, Tony. We don't have we don't need a war with Canada right now. Don't start some kind of international incident. But yeah, it's like I said on Monday, sometimes it sucks being really good at something. Ham is pig ass. Yes, it is. We have belly bacon here. I don't dislike ham. I don't dislike food in general. Quite honestly, unless I've worked all day. After seeing food all day, I don't want to eat when I get home. I don't know how many times I've got home from work and the wife's had dinner ready for me, trying to surprise me. And, I've got to go, get out of my work clothes. I've got to bathe. I've got to relax a little bit. And then I'm in the mood to eat. My dad was the same way. He'd work all day long and just wasn't in the mood to eat when he got home. Me, I have an excuse. I work around food all day. I come home, I smell like oil. I smell like pizza toppings. I smell like hamburgers. And it's like, man, if I want to curb my appetite, all I got to do is sniff my shirt. I switched to a carnivore diet yesterday. The paleo diet. If it bleeds when you kill it, it goes inside you. I found working at Pizza Hut when I was younger, I started to hate pizza for a few years, even after I stopped working there. See, that's how I was at Taco Bell. I worked at Taco Bell 30 some years ago, and I got so tired of making the same stuff that, I had to go in there and specifically order things special. Put nacho cheese on my tacos, or put different things on it than what normally comes on it for me to even still like it. Can't work at takeaway joints, eat all the food as it's cooked. Yeah. I'm on a seafood diet. See, that's how I am. That's how I am normally. I'm on a seafood diet. If I see the food, I eat it. On the days when I don't work. I simply cannot get this blood sugar under control. Man, I'll tell you what, this new medicine that they have me on, that I stab myself once a week, it has really done wonders for my blood sugar. I can still enjoy certain sweets and things like that, and it doesn't raise my blood sugar hardly at all. My blood sugar is sitting in those high 100s, very low 200s now, compared to the mid 300s it's been in for 7 years, almost 8 years. So, yeah, I cannot for the love of God remember the name of that medicine, and I don't have many of my medical forms up here that I can glance at. Is that one of them? Yeah, this is one of them. Let me see here. What is the name of that damn medicine? Xarelto. Xarelto. Nope, that can't be it because that says it's a pill. Pinerol, vitamin, pinerol, metformin, meloxicam, meclizine, lisinopril, hydrocodone, glipizide, acetaminophen, albuterol, aspirin, atorvastatin. Nope, it's not listed on that one. Then again, you know, when you have your own pharmacy sitting on your bedside stand, it's kind of hard to keep track of what you're taking. Carnivore allows dairy products. I simply cannot get seafood and eat it. Well, the carnivore thing is basically zero carbs, dairy notwithstanding. I eat everything, including protein pie. I'm on, including the vitamins that I take. I'm on like 13 different pills every day. I usually take 6 in the morning, 7 at night. No, I take that back. I take 8 in the morning and 7 at night because some of them I have to take twice a day. Good old Puna. Ben, behave yourself, man. Behave yourself. There are young ladies present. We don't want to offend anyone. Yeah, see, that's how mine is. One of mine is an injection. I didn't count. You know, I only counted the pills. I didn't count the one that I shoot myself with once a week, which, by the way, I have to do the day before I go to work. But yeah, I have to open this morning. So I wanted to come in here. I wanted to do, you know, as long a stream as I could. You know, the wife has to leave here in about 10 minutes. And I have to leave here in an hour. So, Bill the Ghost is filmed, and I have coffee, ready to go. Hope all is well. Everything is peachy cool, man. I got to get with Tyler and find out if they're going to make it up for the second weekend of October. They wanted me to get the dates for the Mooresville Civil War days. They're going to try to come back up and do that since, you know, our friend Mike passed away last year and I couldn't go to his memorial and stuff. And Tyler's not been able to say his goodbyes either. And there's a memorial for him set up at Mooresville. If you guys remember right, Mooresville is the private horse farm where they actually built a mid-19th century town on the ranch in one of the pastures. They've got a church. They've got like 3 log cabins. They've got a blacksmith shop. But you know, we do our Civil War days there, and then of course they also rent the place out for weddings, reunions, things like that. So it's a pretty big event for being a private event. And you know, Big Mike was he was a huge part of getting that group together and getting these events set up, and Captain Bob has kept it rolling. Of course, Captain Bob just lost his father-in-law a few months ago, so this is going to be like a double memorial thing. You know, not only is it going to be the final farewell to Mike, but it's also going to be the farewell to Chuck. So, and Chuck, for being the person he is and having all that property and being so well off, he never looked down on anyone. And when I came to him about doing a cowboy event on the property, he just straight up looked at me and said, organize it, set it up, get the folks for it. Like, I'm not going to utilize your property without talking to you first. So, yeah, that now see that would be one Santee that I would really like for you to be able to come up to. You know, it's still warm enough that you wouldn't freeze to death, and it's cool enough that you can get out there in the funny clothes and not sweat to death. So, but it is a very fun event. You know, that's the one that I shot Lee McGinnis at a couple years ago with a Grumpy. Shot him in the butt, turned around, shot him in the gullet. Then when I had him on the ground, I just straight up shot him with both barrels in the chest. Oh, by the way, eggs are okay on this diet too. It is an animal product. Hey, desperado or not, you get in front of them barrels, bad things are going to happen. Whether you're running away from me or you're laying on the ground begging for your life, bad things are going to happen. Besides that, you know, everybody that's come to visit me, that's gone to do an event with me, I have shot. You know, the first time Tyler came here, I shot him dead. You know, Lee comes to visit, I shot him dead. I mean, I only shot Tyler twice. I shot Lee, you know, 6 times. He finally learned really fast, just play dead. Just play dead. 2 in the butt, 2 in the gut, 2 in the chest. Oh. But yeah, the first weekend of October, I have got that fall festival to do with the historic commission, and you know, I started doing it last year with them, doing the renegade union officer. Well, the clean-cut, professional-looking union officer, signing up new recruits for his backwood fighting tactic thing group. It's like the Old West Mafia. I try. So how the hell is everybody? I sat here for almost a half hour and just rattled on about me. How the hell is everybody? So what are you going to do, you know, to wrap up summer? We know what Tony done last week. He held his chair down for Labor Day. Tony's going to hunt. You know, Drew's real anxious to do that too. I was talking to my buddy just outside of town a couple days ago, he messaged me and asked me if I was going to come out and hunt this year. I said, I don't know. I said, I'm kind of waiting to see what arrives in the mail before now and then. He said, well, we're going to have plenty of deer to shoot at. He said, in the last week, I probably counted 25 of them in my backyard. So, to go scout for turkey and deer soon. You know, I wouldn't mind shooting my own turkey. Something about the taste of wild turkey just... I mean, you know, compared to domesticated turkey. You can't tell a difference? Really? Wow. Wild is smaller. I don't know if that's accurate here in the state of Michigan. I really honestly don't. I mean, we have some turkeys around here that, you know, they look like, well, they've got the wingspan of a damn eagle. I mean, I'll just be honest about it. You know, we have some turkeys, some wild turkeys that the wife sees every day going back and forth to work every morning. She'll see them. And these things have got to be 20 or 25 pounders. I mean, they're huge. She says they're as big around as they are wide with their wings extended when they fly across the road and stuff. I mean, she comes to a complete stop and lets, you know, a gaggle of turkeys, 15, 20 turkeys, cross the road. Some of them are flying, some of them are running. But she said they're absolutely huge. Now, see, I don't use a lot of spices. When I bake a turkey for Thanksgiving, I'll chop green onions, and I actually pull the skin up, and I stuff the green onions up under the skin, and then of course I've told you guys before, I make a pound of homemade honey butter, and I stuff big spoonfuls of that honey butter up under the skin, and then, you know, I put it inside the turkey, and I actually will sit there and I will continuously baste the turkey about every half hour, 40 minutes. I'll pull the turkey back out and I'll baste it with that honey butter, and that way it gets that not really sweet, but that sweeter, buttery brownness to the skin and everything. I hear some wild turkeys will chase you till they lose sight of you. I know some of them can get very, very territorial. The same as, you know, Canadian geese. Some of them will run away from you. Some of them will take off in flight. Some of them will turn around and, you know, lower that head down and stick them wings up and start chasing after you. And them little boogers are fast. Gaggle of geese and border crossers. Oh, you mean the ones that aren't stuck in the back of a panel truck that, you know, pay, you know, $200, $300, $400 to somebody to bring them across? You're talking about the ones that actually, you know, cross on their own 2 feet. Rosemary and a couple other spices cut into butter, pushed under the skin, 1 onion, 2 apples, and a stick of butter in the cavity, and bake. Oh,
Have a good day.
You too, babe. I'll see you tonight.
You say you open, right?
Yeah, I open.
Right.
So I should be home before you again. Oh no, wait. I'm gonna sit up there and have my beer.
Yes,
And,
I'm picking you up.
yep, pick me up. We'll go deposit my check.
Yes.
All right.
Just remind me of that.
I will, honey. I love you. Canadian military. Most chase you when they have young ones, or you're stupid and need a selfie. I've not tried that yet. I've not tried that yet. Three or 400. Try thousands. Hey ATL, good to see you. I was wrong. Gaggle can be used for domesticated turkeys as well as flock. Ciento signed a. Oh, okay. Oh man. But yeah, they went on. They scheduled me, and you know it's really funny. I had the other morning, Monday morning, when we had the stream. It wasn't very long after the stream that my daughter had said something to me about why don't I ever put my schedule on the refrigerator anymore. So Skeleton's light went out. We can't have that. Skeletons can't be running around in the dark. She asked me why I never put my work schedule on the refrigerator, and I told her because I'm going to have to change it 3 or 4 times through the week because my boss changes the schedule 3 or 4 times a week. I don't understand why he even makes a schedule because the poor dude has to change it. I was supposed to have Tuesday, Wednesday, and Saturday off, and then he realized, oh wait, our September beach bash is this weekend, and I want my best people there. So he changed the schedule and put me on. So, once again, do not be good at what you do because they take advantage of it. I went in and I opened up yesterday, and I was supposed to call him when the first truck arrived. And by the time he got there, I already had the truck halfway put away, plus I was keeping up on top of the orders, plus I was taking care of the dining room. So, yeah, don't be good at what you do. Plus, I had checked off the order from the delivery guy, so, he asked me why he even bothered coming in at noon when everything was pretty much done. I said, because you make more money than I do, and I don't want anybody to know that I'm doing your job, Bucky. Oh. Maybe it'll pay off in the long run. Maybe one of these days, if something ever happens to him, he decides he don't want to be the kitchen manager anymore. Maybe they'll give it to me. Man, wouldn't that piss everybody off? I'm the newest guy there, and they give me kitchen manager. They give me the position of kitchen manager. When you work where I do, being good at your job they handcuff you. Yeah, mine don't. He asks me every week what days I want to work, and I tell him. We sat down at the bar yesterday when I clocked out, and he asked me. He said, "So how's your schedule look?" I said, "Well, I have the wedding that we're going away for the last weekend of September. Then I have an event the first week of October and the second week of October, and then I'm good till like May." And he said, "Good, because you're going to start getting the hours." I'm like, "Good. We'll pay off the house faster." "What kind of work do you do?" I actually work in a bar. I work in the only bar, well, the only real bar here in town, in the kitchen. So I was actually supposed to hire in just as the pizza guy because I've worked with pizzas on and off for 30 years, and but I come to find out that I am not an alcohol tester. Well, I kind of sort of am an alcohol tester, but I'm not an alcohol tester. I'm not an official alcohol tester. Whenever something new comes in, of course I test it. And then I've got the ones that aren't new that I test regularly. How do I check the alcohol content? I normally will drink them until I fall off my stool, and based on the number of drinks it takes, I can pretty much tell, 11, 12, 13, unless you're drinking the moonshine that I drink, that I keep in my freezer out here, and then it's more like 21, 22%, 25%, 30%. And then, of course, you get into those ones that gluck, 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 gluck. Oh, I feel it burning a new way out. Ouch, ouch. 35, 40%. Yeah, exactly, Tony. Exactly. That's pretty much it. Yep, 180 proof. Oh, look, I just poured this in my car and it started up just fine. Yep. Oh, yeah, our stuff's not watered down, that's for sure. Um, you see them break the seal on that bottle, and they put the measure in, and there it goes. Hey, Derek, good to see you, bud. Hope you're doing good this morning. We used to get dehydrated alcohol in a lab. Birthday has 99.9. Oh, Jesus, criminy. Morning, Ty. Just talking about you a few minutes ago. How's Mooresville looking for you guys? I know she still has vacation time. How's it looking? You guys gonna make it? Second week of October and my birthday weekend, so there's gonna be a party in there somewhere. We make jungle juice with it. Ooh, ooh, I've heard of jungle juice. Ooh. Straighten up, ass. Did yesterday when my country's role in the Civil War. I'm into that unusual stuff, man. And that's one thing that they never teach you in school here, is that, Canada, well, at that point in time, pretty much the entire United Kingdom had a lot to do with the Civil War. A lot of people think that, England's role in our wars and stuff actually stopped in 1812. But they did. They don't teach you about how Scotland and England played a huge role in developing the blockade running ships. What we know today as, well, they were the predecessor to the modern day yacht. They were a very flat bottomed ship, so they could rush right into shore and not have to worry about the hull hitting a lot of rocks and stuff. They'd slide right across the top of things. But Scotland and England built so many of those blockade running ships, and they would leave England and they would go to Virginia and they would pick up a lot of material, or even further north, Maryland. They would pick up a lot of industry that was made in the north, and they would go back to England. They would drop this stuff off. They would pick up a load of guns and things like that. They would go down to Nassau in the Bahamas, shoot up the Gulf Coast through the blockade into Texas. They would drop this stuff off. They would pick up tobacco, cotton, stuff like that. They'd shoot back through the blockade to Nassau, straight back to England, drop this stuff off, pick up more guns, more supplies, and go back to Maryland. And they just made this trip, this great big J, over and over again throughout the entire war. But then the escaped Confederate prisoners and things like that made it to Canada, of course, got Canada involved in the war. So they won their land back. Yeah. In a sense, they really honestly did. I mean, but you sit and figure, not counting Canada, Scotland alone is actually the size of the state of Michigan. Then you've got Ireland, then you've got England, and, they lost a huge chunk of land here. As long as we don't see any more bad signs, you guys will be fine. You guys will be fine. They spent a lot of money establishing the U.S. They really did. I knew about my country's role on both sides of the Civil War. Just didn't know to what extent Queen Elizabeth back then was on the side of the Confederacy. Quite honestly, I think that she played both sides of the coin. She supported both. They were running guns and uniforms and food stores and stuff like that to the north. And then they were picking up, the industries that were the industrial stuffs that were made here in the north, running it back to England. They'd pick up gray uniforms, and they'd pick up guns, and they'd pick up food stores and stuff, and they'd run it to the south. They'd pick up the cotton and tobacco, they'd run it back to England, pick up blue uniforms and guns and food stores, and go back to the north. They were playing both sides of the coin. Smartest thing to do in a war situation. Claim no loyalties. Be two-sided. England could not align with slavery, the world stage. Otherwise, Civil War might have looked a little different. You should have been here yesterday. You probably wouldn't say that. Why? What went on yesterday, brother? You never just randomly message me anymore and tell me things. So I don't ever know anymore what's going on in Iowa. Oh, and speaking of which, about you coming and everything, I know you've got the Baker tent and stuff now. I was actually on Facebook Marketplace day before yesterday, and people are actually starting to sell their reenactors tents and stuff on there, which, you know, I told you guys last year, when I done that event, a couple summers ago, and that storm hit, the canvas on my tent was so old it just pulled apart. It was like ripping paper. And I have found a huge collection of reenactors tents. Um, um, on Facebook Marketplace. Some of them right here close by, you know, ranging from $300 all the way up to $1,000. But yeah, I was really shocked, and that's something I have to do for next year, because I've been using just a piece of painter's tarp held up by a couple of 2x2s. So yeah, it's something I got to think about for next year, is finding a new tent, something that keeps me dry when it rains. No, I do not ride. I don't ride motorcycles anymore. I used to. If I can ever get my eyes fixed where I can actually get my driver's license back again, I've told the wife I would love to build a trike, and that way her and I can actually go out cruising together, since, you know, daughter's getting a little older. She hangs out with her friends more. But yeah, I would love to. I would love to build a trike. I mean, like a rat trike. I grew up during the days of Rat Fink and you know, rat rides and stuff like that, rat bikes and garage bikes. So yeah, I would love to build this huge. I'll call it what it is. I would love to build this huge, ugly steampunk trike. You know, with stacks on it, and, you know, great big slicks on the back. Of course, you know, have rat fink sitting up on the headlights, or straddling the front fender. I don't ride anymore. Healing takes fucking long at my age. Amen to that, dude. I think my dad was 60 the last time he dropped his bike, and he broke his big toe doing it. And boy, did he ever suck for a while doing anything, because whenever he stood up, yeah, he remembered dropping that bike on the gravel. The funeral of Renna's co-worker was yesterday. We ran into hen house twice in my town, and her sister twice this week. bike still needs to be fixed before I can ride. My bike got converted to race in HDRA. Wow. I have considered getting another bike with $4 a gallon gas, but pain hurts. Yep. Tell me about it. Well, see, Michigan and Indiana have this law that you don't need a driver's license to drive anything under 50 cc's. And well, I've considered. I was actually talking to a guy who builds race cars the other night, and he had a friend who put a moped motor on a full-size bike. So technically, he was riding around on a full-size bike that had headlights and taillights and turn signals and everything else, but it was still under 50 cc's. So he didn't need a driver's license to drive it around. I'd love to get my hands on a Civil War Union Army Civil War Western cowboy hat with the 2 rifles crisscrossed on the front and the yellow rope around it. Now mine's got the gray rope. I don't have the crossed rifles, but you can buy those just about anywhere. My last bike was a Honda V65 Magna. It was a bit squirrely on damp roads. Wow. Second time my ass slid across the road into the ditch, I got rid of the thing. 81 Honda 750 Custom. Nice bike. Fun bike to ride. My dad had an 82 or an 83 Honda 750. And he dressed it up, had saddlebags on it, and all the cute little leather fringe on the grips, and the clutch, and the front brake. Those early 80s Hondas were nice bikes. I went up on a cement blocker, never rode again. Well, you know, and it seems really funny and very, very small now, but when I was 12, my sister was 8, and I was 12. My dad bought a Suzuki 125, and that's actually what I learned to ride on. You know, when the old man and I both took our motorcycle driving tests, that's the bike we rode. But I learned to ride on that little 125, and I actually got so good riding that one. On my 16th birthday, somebody had traded in a Kawasaki 750 in the dealership where he worked at. He rode it home to see if I liked it, see how I handled it, and that was going to be my bike. And then when he realized that I could leave him in a cloud of dust on his Honda when I was on that cow, he decided that I didn't need that bike. 110, 115 going down the highway. He decided I didn't need it. My favorite bike of all was 74 Honda 754 with a 903 kit. You get 50 miles a gallon if I rode it easy. About 140 in third or fourth gear. Had an 84 Goldwing. My dad in the 70s had a 76 Triumph Bonneville. Nice. I redid the gearing to closer to stock and lost the MTG stuff, but it was still pretty fast. Yeah, Hondas have always been good bikes. I don't care what anybody says. Hondas, Suzuki's. I've just like I think every other guy in the world. I've always wanted to ride a Harley or an Indian, but for me to do something like that, it would have to be an older bike, like an old, retired military bike or something like that, for me to, really get into it and enjoy the bike. Newer bikes, I've just never really been into the newer bikes. It's not a 50 mpg, fast. Stepdad had a Bonneville in '77. Best ride I've sat on was a Goldwing. Now, see, I've heard a lot of guys say that the Honda Goldwings were probably the best bikes that they've ever ridden. Well, anything so damn smooth. New bikes are a microchip. Same with new cars, man. Same with new cars. Give me a car that I can still work on. I don't need a diagnostic machine or a computer to tell me what's wrong with my car, or how to fix it, or, I don't need to pull this module or that module off of it that's going to cost me $200 or $300 to replace. Give me an intake. Give me an air breather, give me an intake, give me an intake manifold, give me a block, give me an oil pan, give me, two valve covers. I'm perfectly happy. These side mount motors that got fuel rails and everything else on top of them and got more computers than frickin' NASA underneath the hood. Nope. I rode both types. Last bike, 88 V-twin custom, glossy black with skulls on it. That's cool. New bikes need a computer to rub them. Thank you for your kind words yesterday. I rode a bunch of Harley dressers, a Dyna or two. I wouldn't choose a Harley for my own bike. And that's what I said. I'd like to ride one, but I would never have a bike like that. I remember several years ago I was at the Harley dealership in Marion, Indiana, and they were unboxing a custom pearl white anniversary bike, and no. Number one, it's like driving a McLaren or a Lamborghini or something like that. I'd be so afraid that the second that I pulled it out of my garage, some asshat was going to fly by my house and fling a rock or something off the road and chip my bike. I mean, this custom Harley that I was watching them uncrate was a pearl white and covered in chrome and brass, and it's like, no. I could almost buy a house with at that time I could buy a house, a $60,000 bike. I mean, frickin' seriously? Hey, Cheryl. Good to see you, love. Hope you're looking good. Hope you're looking good. I was just reading your message when I said that. Hope you're feeling good. I know you're looking good. You always look good. I've been looking for a year for a used car but can't find a manual transmission. I will not buy an automatic. See, I like manuals, but the wife can't drive a manual, so she only owns automatics. My boss used to trade in Harleys as a sideline. I rode a full dresser hog from here to southern Oklahoma, 750 mile in a day. It was miserable at the end. I love to get a soft tail. We have a Harley dealership here in Windsor. Next week I might take you guys for a tour via live video. That'd be cool. I've not been in a Harley dealership in a while, and I'm kind of ashamed of that because, you know, they do carry a lot of used bikes, and some nice bikes. I had a chance to get a bike here, 9 or 10 years ago, and because my old boss, when I was doing the custom brick, block, and stonework, he had a Harley. And he was very, very close to the people at the Harley dealership in South Bend, Indiana. And we actually were driving by there going to the job site, or coming back from the job site one day, and he stopped in there to talk to him about ordering some aftermarket pieces for his bike and set me loose. You know, told me if I saw one that I liked, he'd make sure it was in my garage that evening. And I told him, no. Nope. And it's probably a good thing I did. I did it that way because, you know, the job only lasted like another year or so. So it would have probably got repossessed anyway because I quit making like super good money when I quit doing brick, block, and stonework. At least our manual cars are less likely to be stolen. Yeah, it's because a lot of people aren't smart enough to drive one. And if they are smart enough to drive it, at least, you know, figure out how to drive it, you're going to hear them stealing your car because every time they try to shift it, they're going to try to grind the gears in it. The most fun bike I ever rode was 750 Kawasaki MK4 2-stroke 3-cylinder. Kawasaki's are great bikes. I did enjoy riding my dad's 750 Honda though. You know, he had the highway pegs on it for him and my mom. So, you know, when it came to, opening it up and just taking a nice long cruise, they could lean back, kick their feet up on the pegs, and just enjoy the ride. They just busted a 1.9 million auto theft up here, all car types, part of it. 4,000 RPM, and it would stand straight up and down in any gear. As a kid growing up in the 80s, my stepdad had a Chrysler. The thing was a boat on the road. You know, we had a few of those growing up. You know, like I said, the old man became service manager at the Ford dealership like the year before I was born, or a couple years before I was born. He started that job in '66. I was born in '68. And, you know, one of the really cool things about being a service manager was you got demo cars every year. And, you know, you drive it around until it was sold or whatever. But we had, my God, we had everything from pinto wagons to Thunderbirds to pickup trucks to whatever. Um, I actually just I seen a video advertised on the platform a couple weeks ago, and it was talking about the Pinto wagon. And one of my fondest memories as a young kid was sitting back in the cargo area. You know, back before they had all the seatbelt laws. But we would sit back in the cargo area and look out the little round windows in the back of the Pinto wagon. Suburbans aside, I think the largest car I ever had was a 76 Mercury Marquis. Mercury Marquis were big cars. Pintos make me think of Cujo. You know, as an adult though, hell, I've owned Pintos, I've owned Broncos, I've owned full-size Chevy trucks, I've owned Camaros. You know, I didn't just stick with Ford. You know, I loved my '67 Ford Fairlane that I drove. You know, what, from the age of 16 until 22. You know, but Broncos, Blazers, pickup trucks, Silverados, Ranger 4x4s, 77 Ford F-250 4x4s. Oh yeah. Before the 80s, we all used to ride in the back of pickup trucks like a bouncy castle. Shoot, Dev, in the 80s, we still rode in the back of pickup trucks. Yeah, it was big. I fit an entire 300 Ford six-cylinder in the trunk. When I was going to high school in the 90s, my first car was a Dodge Shadow. My first car was a 78 Ford Granada with straight six. We used to have and I don't even remember who made it, but there used to be a small pickup. I think it was called a Cub. And it was actually smaller than the Chevy S10, but it had two seats mounted under the roll bars in the bed in the 80s, and you could, instead of sitting in the bed itself, you sat up on these two little fiberglass seats mounted on a steel frame up underneath the roll bars in this thing. And I think they came out in 80 or 81. So yeah, we didn't change quite that early as you guys did. My first car was 65 Chevy Impala. This car I actually drove was 65 Chevy Impala. You know, it's amazing. You know, Tony's a few years older than I am. You know, and I don't know how old everybody is, but isn't it amazing how long you lived? How many cars you own? Just, yeah, like right there, you know. Tony's owned several hundred cars, but isn't it amazing how you always remember your first car? I remember I remember when the old man came home in my 67 Fairlane. He worked for a month to get this thing running. It was a barn find, half covered up with a big canvas tarp. The Landau top was all chipped and broken off. There was pieces of bare steel showing under it. There was rust on the bumpers. There was rust in the fender wells. The paint was faded. There was more straw and rat nest hanging out from under this car than there was anything else. But he worked for a month to get this car to run. Drove it home one day. My mom took him back to the lady's house to get his truck. Cost him $200. That thing went in the garage and we started on it that first weekend. Disassembling the engine and pulling it all apart and getting everything that could possibly be chromed, stripping off the Landau top, exposing all the steel, sanding it all smooth, and, you know, from the top of the chrome antenna to the bottom of the Krager SS's that were on that car, you know, I remember everything we done to it. Took us all winter long to get that car running like a top. And that next spring it got painted, and I started driving it to school in May and graduated that year of school in August, and the end of September drove it in my first parade. Second was an older Pontiac Sunbird with a racing clutch. Both these cars were far too fast for a lead foot. My dad used to have a souped up Pinto. It was more of a show car, candy apple green. Never knew what happened to it. Morning, Brenna. Good to see you, love. Hope you're doing well. That's what prior owner did to my Sunbird. Completely modified. Well, I'm off. I'll have an appointment to go to. All right, Dev. You take care of yourself, my friend, and have a great day. Have a good weekend. And hopefully we'll see you Monday morning. Only thing that I had to do was change transmission and remount the rocker arm. Very cool. Well, guys, I'm going to be ending this in about 10 minutes because, you know, I have to finish getting ready for work, get my knives and stuff together, and hope and pray that this damn misting stuff stops before I got to walk to work. Luckily, only takes me 6 minutes to get there, and that's if I walk slow. It wasn't until after I got married that I started into pickup trucks. I was always into pickup trucks. Me and my friends, we grew up in the country. We used to have bonfires and stuff. Pickup trucks just made a lot more sense to back up in a big circle around the bonfire. Drop the tailgate down, plop up in there, go to the drive-in movies, throw a couple of chairs or something up in the bed of the truck and sit there and watch movies at the drive-in. There's not a time that I didn't own a truck. A truck, or at least a van. Had a couple Ford Econolines myself. You know, the big custom van with the captain's seats, and the kind of vans that people are looking for now to start doing that van life stuff. Then again, if I was independently wealthy and didn't have a family and everything, I would probably consider doing the van life stuff. You know, you got that big bench seat in the back you can sleep on. There's plenty of room for storage. Get really crappy gas mileage and go through your fortune in gas just driving from one coast to the next. But hey, you know. But one takes things as they come when poor. Amen to that. Amen to that. I currently drive an 87 Pathfinder. It's in great condition. Stick, of course. Of course. Since we moved back up here in 92, I've never not owned a truck. Trucks are just too handy. You know, but then again, that's how I always felt about my El Caminos. You know, I had that low sitting comfortable car in the front, had pickup truck in the back. I still had the bed, I could haul stuff and move and go do my events and have plenty of bed space for everything. Always loved El Caminos. My wife's favorite car. I've been looking for her one for 7 years. And she don't even care if it's a piece of crap or not, which is what I love about her is, you know, why does she want somebody else's project? She wants her project for herself. But yeah, have a lovely day. Until next time, peace. You too, Cheryl. You too. Have a lovely day. Have a lovely weekend. I hope the weather's pretty where you're at so you can get out and enjoy it a little bit. But you take care. Have a good weekend. Nice day. And we'll see you later. Most of the time, I would have more than one truck. Don't blame you for that. You need a work truck, and you need a getting around, you know, going out on a date kind of truck. You too, Cheryl. You too. This Dakota ain't a real truck. My ex down in Texas, yes, my exes live in Texas. Her dad drove a Dodge Dakota, and I'm like, this isn't much bigger than my El Camino. Bench seat in the front. Big bed on it. Well, for a Dodge Dakota it was big. There was twice as much bed space as there was cabin space. Hey, Brooklyn, good to see you, love. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, 8 foot of car, 5 foot of bed. Yep. I mean, Dakotas weren't bad. I mean, they got good gas mileage, but hell, you couldn't carry anything in them because the bed was so short. If you had any kind of a project going on and you needed to haul lumber, it had to stick, you know, 5, 6, 7, 8 feet out the back of the bed with red flags hanging on it. I've been good, Brooke. I've been good. Staying busy. Working like a Hebrew slave. But, you know, paying the house off. I just want a single cab, 8 foot box Cherry or Chevy. Don't blame you. Don't blame you. I do still like the Suburbans though. Good morning, Burnaby. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Happy Friday to you, my friend. I'm hoping I'm hoping that I'm able to get a video done for Sunday. Since I close tomorrow night, I might be able to, between, being off early this evening and going in and closing tomorrow night, I'm hoping I can get something done for you guys. I don't know. I don't know. I hope, pray. Take care, folks. Mrs. Collins. All right, Tony, we're going to be out of here in about a minute and a half anyway, so you take care, bud, and we'll catch you first of the week. Good morning, Stephen. Good to see you, buddy. Hope you're doing well today. Oh, goodness gracious sakes. Heard the song, it's 5 o'clock somewhere, but yep. Heard it many, many, many times, my friend. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. But, getting back to the investigations and stuff like that before we close this out, we've never done an entire town before. And the town of Galeen, Michigan, honestly, doesn't even exist anymore. There are no businesses in the town. Well, I take that back. I think there's a bar restaurant, but it's very rarely ever open. Everything else has completely shut down. There are still about 30 or 40 houses, but yeah, all the businesses and stuff have closed down. There have been a lot of reports of shadow figures and being on the sidewalks at night and hearing people talking. There's a school, an old abandoned school in the town of Galeen. It's privately owned. It's doubtful we'll be able to get into it. But I guess a teacher had committed suicide in the school, had actually jumped off the roof. So as soon as we get confirmation that we can do this place, of course I'll post something about it. Like I said, we have the big wedding coming up here at the end of the month that I'm officiating, and then I have the 2 Civil War events next month. Then we're just going to be hopefully relying on investigations for the rest of the winter and stuff. I'm hoping to not take a lot of time off, but we'll just have to wait and see. But that's all I got for you guys today. Like I said, I've got to get ready for work. I got to leave here in just a few minutes. I don't think it's going to be an issue, Ty. I really don't. Be honest with you, I'm more concerned with you and Brenna being able to get here than I am anything else right now. You know, with Big Mike's passing and stuff like that, you and I both need our closure. We need to say our goodbyes. We need to spend a little bit of time at his memorial. You know, say our goodbyes. Not to mention, I'm sure there's a lot of people that would love to see you again that haven't seen you in a few years. So that's my biggest concern right now, above the investigations and stuff like that. So I think so too, Burnaby. I think so too. And Brooke, definitely good to have you back. I've missed you. I've missed your good comments, and I don't have time to watch videos anymore. I really I see when I get home from work that you've been on or something like that, and it's like, damn, I miss her smile. You know, I miss the group of people that she has, and you know, it just, when I've been running around all day long in the kitchen, it's like 110 degrees in there, and I'm roasting alive. By the time I get home, it is strip off the greasy work clothes that smell like chicken fingers and pizzas and hamburgers and french fries and tater tots and onion rings and jalapeno poppers, and get in the tub, scrub the smell of kitchen off you, and relax. So, but hopefully when I have another day off sometime in the next God knows how long, I'll be able to catch up on some of these people and at least pop in and say hello and stuff like that. So I know you will, Ty. I know you will. Take care, everyone. Have a great day. You do the same, my friend. Every one of you have a great day. Try to have a good weekend. Try to have a little bit of fun, please. I'm not. I gotta work both days. But we're out of here. But you guys take care. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. God bless you. God love you. I do. And we'll catch y'all on Monday morning. Same bat time, same bat channel. But y'all have a good weekend. We'll catch you later.